Are you wondering what services Padsplit has to offer? In this video, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of a private call that we had with our members, with some people from Padsplit. And they're going to walk you through this video. What are some of the services and functions that Padsplit offers a landlord such as yourself when you're converting your single family rental into a co-living or Padsplit model? Hope you got a lot of video out of this, and then feel free to ask any questions below in the comments section. Now onto the video of what services do Padsplit offer.
We don't consider ourselves much operators as much as we know the operations. We're investors. We want to be able to invest into something, but still continue on what our lives are. So since we're not true operators and we expect to be a little bit more hands-off, Padsplit does provide a lot of the parts that an investor doesn't want to do, not even a property manager might want to do. A property manager doesn't want to spend $500,000 in marketing. They don't want to screen anybody. They don't want to collect, money from 8 rooms. It's not ideal for them. So Padsplit does a lot of the people portion that they can do remotely that a PM or an investor absolutely doesn't want to do. But what's left over is the operational part of it. Now, the operational part would be cleaning a room every couple months, cleaning the common area once a month, cutting your grass if you have grass, because there's people in Phoenix that absolutely don't have grass; they have rocks on their front lawn. So it's up to like each property what it requires and how much communication you want to be involved in your property. But the platform, you can assign different roles and different tasks based off of. Not based off of, you can assign that to different people so that if there's a ticket for it cleaning of a room, it goes to your property manager or it goes to you. So PMs typically, I think, fall under 2 buckets. You have one bucket that is more operational and then another bucket that is more service oriented. When you have operational PMs, you'd find that they do charge less on Padsplit because they are just taking care of doing the cleaning and doing the repairs and mostly that, I would say. And they're charging you less. And if there's a ticket or they have to go to the property, they'll charge you for a home visit. There's other PMs that we could recommend you to that help you out in your property more as like an investor versus just operational skeleton crew. They'll do extra screening, they'll do extra marketing, they'll do preventative reach out versus reactive management. So I would say those are the 2 bigger things that you'll see out there for property management. And we're able to connect you with a slew of them so that you can see which one you prefer as an investor, or if you want to self-manage. That's actually something that my biggest client and friend does with 450 doors. He used to be a landlord of over 100 doors, 100 properties. And when he converted to Padsplit, he lost about 80% of his work that he had to do. So for that extra 20% of whatever was left over, he's able to easily manage his 450 doors on Padsplit because he is an operator. So
what I want to compare it to, Paul, just to have a little bit more clarity, is when you, as an Uber driver, Uber does not change your oil change or give you new tires, right? That is kind of part of your business expense.
Right.
When you operate a short-term rental, Airbnb doesn't come and clean that sink or change that light bulb. So that is the exact same comparison that Padsplit does and does not do. So anything that are the physical components of your asset, cleaning, repairs, maintenance, upkeeps, that's what you need to factor in additionally as your operational expense. And that is the component that your property manager will cover for you if you choose to utilize a property manager.
Mm-hmm.
So when people come to us and they're like, you're a property management company? No, we're not. Right? We're a technology company, we're a platform, and there's a couple components that we do not cover. But then again, to compare it to many other different companies that exist, there's still a component that it's not fully covered by them neither, and we operate equally.
Yeah, and you guys
go ahead, Paul.
You guys charge 8%, correct? On the management side there initially to get in. I know there's like a bigger upfront payment. You want to talk about that a little bit? That I
Yeah,
think
that's
it's
my next
10 days
question.
or so.
Yeah. So since Padsplit is very heavy on the marketing and the advertising, we have a acquisition member cost. So every time we acquire a member through our marketing and our advertising, we are keeping the first 10 days of that renter's occupancy income. So I'm just going to, for simple math's sake, May 1st, I'm moving into Paul's house. Paul decided to accept my booking request, and my move-in date is May 1st. So from May 1st to May 10th, Paul will generate $0 from the rent that I will be paying. But starting day 11th, Padsplit is charging Paul 8%, and Paul is keeping 92% of the rent until I decide to move. So if I am living at the property for 10 months, a year, year and a half, by the way, the average days are between 8 to 10 months, then Paul, you will only be charged, you are being charged that 8%. But every time we acquire a new member for you to your home, we're keeping those first 10 days.
8 to 10 months is your average occupancy time for a tenant, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, it just has to do with the nature of the type of clients that we're getting. They have full-time jobs. They don't have any options. They can't just move into a $1,600 apartment and furniture costs and upfront costs as deposits. For Padsplit, it's a lot easier to move into a furnished room with utilities included than it is to do an apartment. So because of that, these members tend to stay a lot longer than short-term rentals.
Quick question. Do you get people that work virtually from home in Padsplit?
Yep.
Okay.
It's funny because that's a feature that some people incorporate, especially if they're doing new construction Padsplit, where they'll have Ethernet cables where they'll be able to plug in their bedrooms directly, because some jobs require them due to security to be connected directly to landline. We've been seeing that more and more, and that's maybe one of the reasons why not everybody has a car that lives in a Padsplit. That might be a contributing factor that we just can't account for.
Makes sense. Yeah,